There was a boy named Ken who lived in a village called Ick. He was born into a happy family of 5. His father was a successful businessman and he made sure that Ken and his 2 sisters attended the best school in the village. Ken was known all over the village because of his intelligence in academic work. His father didn't let his wife work because he wanted his family never to taste poverty, but all this ended one day. That morning Mr. Obina screamed from his sleep and died. Mrs. Obina called her son Ken to rush his father to the hospital, but no hospital was open by that time of the morning. When day finally broke, it was a trending news in the village that Mr. Obina was finally dead. People came to see for themselves. Many could not believe it, that Obina, the strong man they know, was dead. Ken could not understand the mystery behind his father's death. Mrs. Obina would not stop crying. She didn't taste anything for 6 days. People had to start begging her to eat so that she would not die too. Life became unbearable for them when the father's kinsmen came and took everything their father had away from them. These were people his father had sponsored in their family affairs. Ken could not believe his eyes. They took virtually everything and left nothing for Ken. The heir. On the night of his father's burial, Ken called his mother and his siblings together and announced his plan to leave for the city. His mother kicked against it, but he had to convince her on his reasons for thinking of going to the city. His siblings began to weep, but he assured them that he was going to get a better life and would back for them. His mother hugged him in tears and whispered, "Good luck, in case if I'm no longer alive, take care of your siblings." He replied back and said, "Mama, take care of yourself, I promise never to disappoint you." He then boarded a lorry and left for the city. He arrived at the city, but had nowhere to go to. He kept walking around the city until he met a boy named Ben. He explained his condition to him. "I was once like you, bro, but I have somewhere I've been managing. I will take you there." "Really? Oh, thank you very much. You are God sent. Don't thank me yet until you see the place." He took Ken to a small dirty 1-room apartment. There were 5 boys who lived in the same room. They all looked tough and rough. Ben assured him that he would get used to their way of life. The boys were into one thing or the other and there was no time for welcoming speech. Ken had to assure himself, well, this is better than staying on the streets. Few months later, with the help of Ben, Ken began to sell tomatoes on wheelbarrow in the market. On one of those days, he met a girl that was always competing with him in academics. She was looking well dressed and fresh. He tried to hide, but it was too late because the girl had already seen him from afar. "Ha ha ha ha, Ken, you of all people, so this is now your office. See, Ken that used to compete with a princess like me is now a hawker." She mocked him. Ken could not say a word for some time. He just bowed his head in embarrassment. Then suddenly, something happened. Don't miss the new episode. Please follow me for more amazing episodes, so that you won't be left out. Thanks for reading.